Lovely bit of rainwater seasoning. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to this sunny episode of Sunday Sessions with your boy Hass, George behind the camera. It is a beautiful, glorious summer day here in cloudy North London. And we're making curry chicken, plantain, and like roti but Turkish, but from here, but from there. I say curry chicken, this is influenced by Caribbean and West Indian. I grew up in Edmonton, so there's loads of like barbecues with friends eating curry chicken or going to the local jerk spot to order some. Not doing rice because I can't be fucking bothered. You all know how to cook rice. I'm going to show you how I make curry chicken. Yeah, this is me, my version of curry chicken. Yeah. So first things first, big, beautiful, free-range organic bird. Some of you may like to wash this. I have bought it from my butcher's, so I don't wash it. Because I trust my butcher. Take off this little bit of skin, and then all we're gonna do is break down this chicken into like nice bite-sized pieces, right? So taking the knuckles off, because the skin just pulls back off of them when they're cooked. They don't really do much. Take off this little bum. And then I want to stand it up, fucking hell, I want to stand it up. I just want to break through the backbone. Out. That comes. And this can go into the curry, it's not a problem. This is just going to add flavour. There's good fat on here, still bits of meat. I'd suck the meat off that. It's not something you say every day. Split the breastplate like so, and then cut the chicken in half. And then we're just going to start to portion. So thigh away from the arsehole. And then this thigh, I'm probably just gonna go 2 pieces like so, maybe 3 actually. But each time I cut, I'm making sure that I've got bone in the chicken, otherwise this meat will just cook away to fuck all. Drumstick, I'm gonna go in half, just here. And the idea is we wanna keep them near enough samey in size, so that they all cook at the same time. With breast and this little wingtip, I'm just gonna go like straight through the shoulder, leaving the bone in, breastplate intact, because I want the bone flavour in the curry. I've got this little bit of chicken rib that can go in scraps, and then breast meat. So we're gonna do this on both bits of the chicken. One whole chicken broken down into like nice bite-sized pieces, yeah? So from here, we're gonna stick this chicken in this bowl of rainwater. Right, chicken in. And then I just wanna cut in a couple of onions just to help with the little marinade that we're doing, right? Take the first couple bits of skin off, and I just go chunky with it, man. Just into quarters like that. Let that sit in there as well. I do like using a cleaver, you know, but it's fucking dangerous, bruv. So like the idea of a cleaver is it's naturally heavy, so you don't have to put a lot of oomph into it, but there's something satisfying about just going, motherfucker. Right, onion in. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add some curry powder, right? I, like a true middle-class white woman, went into my local Caribbean shop and picked the most expensive one. That's my reasoning. As if I was in Waitrose, I'll just go for the expensive one. So this is just like turmeric, coriander, fenugreek, cumin, allspice, all mixed. I just use it out of the bag. It was the way I was shown to do it, so that's how I do it. So I'm not going to measure how much I'm putting in. Also, I'm going to mix this with my hands, but at home, glove up or use a spoon. I can't fucking get into this piece of fucking shit. Why can't I get into this, for fuck's sake, man? West Indies, colonization, Indian influences with like fenugreek and cumin, but it's very much flavors that are around the West Indies and the Caribbean. So we're gonna go in of our curry powder. I reckon this is about 4 tablespoons, maybe a little more. And we're just gonna mix this together. Make sure that all the chicken is coated in this curry powder, yeah? Should have worn gloves, right? So that's the base part of our curry. That's curry powder, chicken, and some onions. Now I want to talk to you about where I don't want to call this Jamaican or Trini or specify to a certain part of the Caribbean, because I'm using a mishmash of influences, right? I'm making a green sauce that I've been told is what the guys in Trinidad do. I'm using cumin, which is from another part of the Caribbean. So it's all multiple inspirations, but also I've kept my little chef's hat on. I'm doing it the way that I think it should be done. So in mine, there is chicken stock and there is coconut milk. And for some, that's blasphemous, but for others, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. So what you need to do to make this paste, right, is, got it all, oh, fucking hell, there's a lot of rainwater in there. All of these ingredients, I've got a fun piece of ginger, Scotch bonnets, 4 cloves of garlic, a bunch of spring onions, a couple limes, 5 shallots, a quarter of a bunch of thyme, and a whole bunch of coriander. That's our green side, right? From there, I'm going to add in cumin and some allspice. So it's a quarter teaspoon of allspice, a whole teaspoon of cumin, and then I'm going to grate some nutmeg in once it's done. Now, you're going to wazz it, and you're going to end up with this beautiful green paste. I've put some oil in this just to help smooth it through, but this is our second bit of flavor, right? So we've got nice deep curry flavors from the curry, nice deep curry flavor from the spices, but then I want to give it an extra, a little lift off kind of vibe, right? So the onions in here are going to caramelize, so is the garlic, so the spring onions, and we're going to build that nice beautiful base to our curry. So wazz that all together, end up with this. Chicken's marinated. That is all the prep you need to do. I'm going to throw a couple sneaky carrots in. Other than that, I've blended, chopped and marinated, and now I'm heating the pan up. It's a very, very easy curry to make. 45 minutes at home, start to finish. Make some rice, eat it with roti. We're doing roti today. Very good, like midweek meal. Welcome to the Caribbean. I wish we had a little piece of sunshine, but we don't. So we're just going to cook this in the rain. This is breakfast today, so looking forward to a lovely little curry chicken breakfast. Not something that I've done before, but I'm looking forward to it. So I'm heating up neutral oil, just cooking oil. And then let's pretend that this is marinated anywhere from half an hour to up to a day, yeah? Oh, look at that, it's been a day. I'm gonna take a little bit of salt, and we're gonna make sure that we've seasoned all of this chicken, yeah? I'm just gonna toss this because my hands are already really fucking yellow, and I don't wanna get dirty looks when I go to the nail salon to get a manicure and be like, where the fuck have your hands been, cuz? Skin on, marinated. We're just gonna get this sealing in the pan, and you're gonna see that all the turmeric is gonna bleed out. Traditionally, you wouldn't seal your meat off. The way I was taught was to bang it all in. Once the chicken has released its moisture, it's then to go in with the next stage. With me being a chef and making braises and making curries before, it doesn't make sense to me and my little thinking hat to not caramelize the chicken to build flavor in the bottom of the pan. All we're doing now is rendering chicken fat that's gonna run through our curry and give us extra depth in flavor. It's also slowly toasting off all of the spices in the curry powder to bring them back to life, so there's vibrancy and there's like beautiful tones and stuff, right? So we're gonna seal all the chicken off, add back in a couple aromats, and then green sauce, blip, 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 come back, munch. Right, look, chicken, we're not cooking it all the way through, we're just sealing it, we're locking in flavor, right? It's a beautiful tinge of like fluorescent. It's a beautiful tinge of fluorescent yellow, orange, almost hazardous, but smells fucking delicious. All the spices have come back up to life, right? Pull these aside, we'll get the next batch of chicken in. Don't overcrowd the pan here, because if you start to overcrowd the pan, you're just gonna fucking drop the temperature. It's not gonna fry. You're gonna be here for double the time. Just be fucking patient, like you're waiting for a bus or something, or you're waiting for your takeaway, and just have a little patience, bruv. Like, I think Ronan Keating said that. Have a little patience. I think it was Ronan Keating. Right, next bit of chicken in. Right, so the second batch of chicken is sealed off. I'm gonna add the onions in now. And you'll notice, if you look at the shots carefully, you'll notice that the bottom of my pan's starting to catch and caramelize. The onions go in now to release moisture and mop that all up, right? So we're not in the danger zone of burning anything. We're still at a point where we're frying and getting flavor. A little bit more oil. Chicken sucked up all the oil. Onions have cooked down ever so slightly. It's time for paste. Now, the paste is gonna have moisture in it. And again, this is gonna help us scrape the bottom of the pan and start to build and develop those flavors, right? Smells fucking banging. So now we've gone from like fluorescent yellow to like deep, muddy green color, right? We've got to make sure that we've cooked off the raw ginger, the raw spring onions, the raw garlic in this paste. This is just another level of flavour. So paste has gone in. Add all the chicken back to the pan, juices and all, and get this all coated. Nice and together. Right, I've got some carrots that I've peeled, and I'm just gonna cut them in quite chunky. I fucking love a cooked carrot, to be fair, like a little bit al dente, a little bit sweet, another little colour break. Goes a long way. Cut them in like your auntie because they taste better. Fuck a chopping board. Onions are cooked down. We're starting to catch on the bottom. Carrots have just gone in. I'm gonna give it a little season with salt. Can I go? little season. I'm actually going to give it some black pepper as well. I don't often use black pepper, but little black pepper and some flour. Stir that through. And then we're going to go in with the most controversial item, chicken stock. Now, traditionally this would be water, but I am a firm believer in using chicken stock where you can. So chicken stock in. And just give the bottom of the pan a nice scrape. I'm going to need a little bit more chicken stock. I want it covered. Not fully covered, because the stock is basically what turns into our gravy, right? But we need enough liquid in there to make sure that the chicken's poached down and that the carrots are cooked. Rest of the chicken stock, just enough to cover. Lastly, everyone's rolling around saying, no, don't do it. But I like the lightness that coconut milk gives to a chicken curry. So I'm going to go in with a tin of coconut milk and we're going to cook this for 45 minutes. Now, at the end of this, we're going to have to season and tweak and check like you would with a Vietnamese curry or a Thai curry. I like to balance sweet, acidic, creamy. I forgot to say, I'm going to plonk one Scotch bonnet in it. I'm going to leave it. Now, be careful when you mix it, because if you break that Scotch bonnet, it will make the curry hotter. But I want it in there just for fragrance, let it wilt, they get to know each other, and then some unlucky fucker eats it by accident, and we all get to laugh, ha ha ha, ha, and play happy families. It's going inside to come to the boil, lid on, medium heat, reduce for about 45 minutes. We don't want pissy, but we don't want thick. So I'm going to take it inside, do everything I've just said, and we're going to make some roti. I wanted to make a roti, then I wanted to make chapati, then I wanted to make this, then I wanted to make that. And so what I've gone for is a Turkish recipe called katmer, which is a breakfast bread that you roll that's got loads of butter on the inside and it's flaky and delicious. Piece of piss. So 550 grams of flour, sprinkling of salt, 350 mils of water that I've put a teaspoon of baking powder in to give it like fluff, yeah? We're just gonna pour this in and give it the old mix around until it forms a dough. Now this is quite a wet dough, so I don't bother tipping it out. I just give it a knead inside the bowl. Doesn't actually need kneading, it just needs to come together. And once it's come together like that, it's going to be quite sticky and gelatinous. Let that sit for 10 minutes and then we'll portion and roll. Right, so 10 minutes, it's come together. I'm just going to roll it in a little bit of flour here. And then we're going to cut it into 4. And then cut those 4 into 3. And then all you got to do is a little bit of flour on your hands. And then just fold these back on themselves. And then roll them into nice little balls. Right, so you're going to stick those to one side. I've got some that I made earlier and we need to be doing this at an urgent pace. So these have gone to one side. I'm going to brush myself off and I'm going to show you how to roll one, right? So The idea is that we're gonna put butter into this dough. So I want a bit of flour. Take my dough, make sure that it's coated in flour. It's quite an elastic dough, so you're gonna need flour on the bench. And we're gonna roll it out, right? Doesn't matter if it's not circular or not. I'm not really good at keeping things circular, if I'm being totally honest. So you want to roll it quite thin. Stick it back out. It doesn't matter if there's a couple holes in it. With the tip of your knife, right, we're just going to make little slits like this. And this is going to create layering so that when you tear the bread apart, you can see the different layers. Doesn't matter if they're uniform or some are bigger than others or if they're in opposite directions. Just make sure there's a few good slits in your dough. From there, I've got 2 tablespoons of melted butter and 3 tablespoons of cooking oil. And this is what we're gonna add into our bread, right? And this is gonna give us butteriness all the way through. Paintbrush, we're just gonna paint this mix on. Be quite delicate with it, but make sure that there's butter on each bit. Like that. And then we're going to roll in this direction, just like that. Just bring it on itself and just roll it up. Doesn't have to be tight. Just roll it up. And that means that we're creating little bits of butter on every layer that are going to caramelize. Now at this point, we're going to give it a tiny little stretch into a nice sausage. Like that, and then we're going to snail it. And what I mean by snail is just roll it back on itself like so. Give it a little pat down and let that rest for half an hour. Ta-da! Here's some I made earlier. So they've been in the fridge overnight and I've let them come back up to temperature. Pan on. Did I get them out? No. Cool. So I'm going to take one of my snails, right? Give it a little pat down, excuse my floury hands, and then we're going to roll this out, right? Don't need to go too thin on it. The thicker it is, the more layer we're going to get, right? Just make sure that it's somewhat uniform. And I just want this bread for like picking up and scooping and getting bits of sauce, picking up bits of coleslaw and some plantain, almost using this as a eating vessel, right? So you can see the slits have made like glutinous lines with bits of butter in. The dough's elastic and stretchy, so it's falling under its own weight. I've got this pan nice and hot. The first one always is shit, so we'll cook this one off. So I'm going to turn it quite often, right? Just as it starts to colour, I'm going to turn. So we want to make sure that it's cooked all the way through. Now the butter's starting to melt, you can hear it in the pan. It's essentially like a cheap man's puff pastry, but it's not going to puff, it's going to tear and be delicious, but still have like that buttery croissant vibe. It's a breakfast bread in Turkey.
Is it?
Yeah. Right, so bread, steaming, hot, beautiful and brown, burning my hands. I'm gonna wrap those in tea towels just so they steam a little. Next one in. Same principles. Now, the only difference is that this pan is now hot and up to temperature, so you're gonna need to turn it more often. But it gives you opportunity to bash out the next one. This one I've not rolled with a rolling pin. I've not rolled this one with a rolling pin, just stretched it with my hands to see if it's any different. Trial and error, son. Do you know what I mean? Little pancake day. Hello. Bit of Who's Your Dad. Good textures as well. Crispy but chewy still. Nice, I saved it, did not drop. And that's all you're looking for really, is to go crispy on the outside. You've got that buttery colour on the inside. Where it's thin, it will cook fast. But the steam is essential. Right, these boys, Reggae Bananas, also known as plantain. I really enjoy eating plantain when I get a takeaway from the yard shop or the jerk shop, or from the South American guys. There's actually people in the world that have never eaten plantain before, isn't there? Plantain is like it's a member of the banana family, but it's tough, and you can't eat them raw. You have to cook them. You can braise them, you can boil them, you can smash them, you can fry them. I like them fried really quickly until they like caramelize. These are ripe, so like they're all stained and leopard print, and they're a little bit soft to the touch, so I know that they're going to be sweet. If you get plantain that's fully yellow and still a bit hard, you're going to add a little bit of sugar on top of your plantain, and then you're going to fry it, right? So, a little bit of oil. Let that heat up, and I'm just going to cut my Reggae Banana on an angle for the aesthetic. Beautiful. And then I'm going to season with salt. And now this is going to give us sweet, savoury, crispy bread, hot curry, cooling, sweet banana, some coleslaw. Got all the good bits, do you know what I mean? Not into a roasting hot pan. And now the plantain is going to go brown, crispy, jammy, sweet. You can put spices on top. You can go like a little bit of nutmeg, you can go chili flake, you can go allspice, cinnamon, whatever. I like it straight as is, just a little bit of salt. I've even got camel eating them now. Oh, you'll make banana? Yes, I make banana. Give them a little flip. Don't want or need loads of colour. The reason that the plantain goes nice and caramel like this is the sugars are leaving and starting to caramelise under the heat. I still want a nice little bit of crunch on the inside, not fully soft. I don't like them when they're like, fucking, I don't want to be here, and I'm overcooked. So curry's been cooking for about 40 minutes. I've turned it up to hot just to reduce it ever so slightly. It's fiery. The chicken's just at a point where it's about to fall off the bone. I don't want it to fall off the bone because then it goes like wispy and not nice. But yeah, once the plantain's done, roti, whatever the fuck we're calling that, is also finished. All we're gonna do is plate up and add some secret coleslaw. Should we have a look at one of these plantains? It's a nice crispy outside and then soft, jammy, banana-y innards. Look at that. Quite starchy, quite heavy. I burnt all the way down. I'm just gonna drain these off on a little bit of kitchen towel just so any excess oil can escape and fuck off. So all we're looking for is a nice crispy bottom. Do exactly the same on the underside. And you feel when they start to soften as you turn them over. But that is what you're looking for. Ow. You almost want to cook it like you've cooked halloumi. So if you ever cooked halloumi in a frying pan, it's the same vibe. Plantain's done, bread's done, secret coleslaw is open. I'm gonna go grab the curry and we're gonna see where we're at. What are you saying, everything all right? You want some curry? curry is delicious. Our gravy's thickened, carrots are soft. Meat's pulling away from the bone, that's a sign of tender, delicious meat. This is cooked for about 45 minutes. And we're good to go, man. Cool. So, our curry's cooked. Beautiful, beautiful colour. Gravy's thick and delicious. Yeah, man. You see me, why am I cooker so good? It almost resembles like a Japanese curry in colour. But fucking look at that in the sunshine, man. In the fucking sunshine, son. Denzel, fuck off. Right, so beautiful bit of curry, turmeric stained bowl. I'm gonna add a couple, can I go?
Yeah.
Couple of bits of plantain, just on the side, if anyone needs like a little bit of sweetness. This coleslaw that I made earlier, it's just gonna sit here. Little cooling aspect. Just like so. Lovely jubbly. And then we've got a nice, buttery, flaky, cooked in a buttery, flaky flake crust. Flaky, beautiful bread to dip in. I think the first thing I always do when I'm offered a curry is I always dip bread into sauce because this is my first bite and I know it's going to be my last bite as well. Look at that, man. Even the dog's looking. Even the dog's looking, mate. Yeah, fiery. Loads of like deep flavours from the spices. Turmeric. Do you want some? This motherfucker, yeah, my mum got a new carpet on the weekend. Yesterday he puked on a new carpet. He's never puked upstairs in his life, but he's decided to puke on the carpet. Funny boy, bro. Right, let's get into some chicken. Oh, look, beautiful and white. Delicious, packed with flavour, nice and salty. It's just a surty dinner, man. I'm not doing much talking because honestly it's fucking delicious. I've never been to the Caribbean, only via Tottenham, but this is legit, man. Curry's taken on all the flavour from like where we cut through the bones. You've now got the marrow running through. Make sure you suck the cartilage in the bones. That's where all the flavour's at. If you don't want to make bread, a little bit of basmati goes a long way. But I like the idea of just eating bread, a couple vegetables, some coleslaw, some plantain, plonking it all in your mouth. Absolutely fantastic. I brought out a lime to squash on top and some coriander. I can't be fucking bothered. This isn't food that you need to tart up or make it look great. It is what it is. It's fucking deep, it's rich, it's delicious, spicy, cool notes, sweet tones, texture from bread. You don't need nothing else, man. Thank you. Curry chicken, katmer, secret coleslaw, plantain. Bless up. Innit? Mad.
Harry, auntie made that.
Trust me, whose auntie made this food, cuz?
Harry.
Well, the first time I ever had curry chicken, yeah, I was at Trey's 16th birthday. I was wearing all white Air Force Ones. And I took my first bite and I dropped curry chicken on my shoe and it never came out. The turmeric stained my shoe, bro, for life.
Shop House Films.
Can you say films?
Film.
Films.
Films.